Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nicole with Made from Scrap, and I want to share with you the project that I made for our Remember the Time YouTube hop featured by Country Craft Creations. This is the calendar paper collection that each of us designers are making a project of our own and sharing on this hop so that you have all kinds of ideas for using this paper collection. So I have pulled out an album, a 12 by 12 scrapbook album that I bought on clearance a while back. I took it apart because it is post bound, so I could add a couple more sheets to it in order to fully utilize the collection, since typically scrapbook albums come with about 10 sheets in them. So after doing that, you can see that I have also used the title from the title sheet. I always try to remind you all to use this paper, and you can see from some of the other design team members' projects that they are also planning on using this title sheet as well. So here is the album. Like I said, I added a couple more, another couple of sheets to the album. Now I have made this album for my nephew and niece who are just getting married, and I wanted this to serve as their first year wedding album. So in making this, the first thing I wanted them to see is a picture from their wedding day, and I've used the title from the title sheet here. I've also used this this die set that is available at Country Craft Creations, and this Just Married, it's from Echo Park. This has been a really fun project because it gave me a chance to pull out some of my other dies, or some of my punches, some things here and there, like chipboards and little doodads from my stash, and use them up, and so that's been very fun. So I'm going to just walk you through each of the pages so you can get an idea of how I laid out each of the monthly collections. And on this first page, just to give you another idea, I did use a tab punch so that we could have more than just a single photograph from their wedding day used. So you can pull this out and actually put 4 photographs on there. So what I did here is I cut a slit in my page, and by doing so I was able to hide the little tab that I glued down right there. You can see it. In order to allow this to be a flap. So that's the only page that I did this with, because I just didn't want there to only be a single option for photograph, because it was such going to be such a fun memory for them with their first year wedding anniversary. I wanted this to be an album for them, as I said. So so this is, you know, made for them. But they are pull out, you know, obviously you can interchange the pages however you want to do it, and start with January 1st if you'd like. But here's my first layout. It is the December collection. On each of the pages on the right hand side of the double layouts, I have used the calendar collections there, and then I have interchanged different mat sizing, but consistently used a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch size, so that standard 4x6 photos could be used. I did the fussy cutting for all of the embellishment. In order to make embellishment pieces, you can see from the collection that each and every month has things like banners and tickets and circles and tags, and 3.5 by 4 inch or 3 by 4 inch journaling cards, that kind of thing. So this has been an extremely fun collection to use. I've used some seam binding or ribbon for some of the tags, and this page I made a little bit more dimensional than the rest, but hopefully this gives you an idea of things that you can do with the paper collection. And I'm just going to run through each of the months. So you can see I did groupings with the ticket stubs. I've cut apart some of those banner pieces and double matted most everything with black paper. Make it pop out from the page. I've used some of my flat backs from my stash. I've used some corner punches. Okay, I've used a stamp here. It was really fun to pull out a bunch of my stuff that I haven't used in a while. It's been a while since I've made any 12 by 12 layouts. So each of the monthly titles have been used throughout the album. Here's another couple of punches or die cuts that I've used. Give you an idea. I've used an old stamp that I've had for quite some time with some silver pigment ink throughout, so that was all the same. I've used some sparkle gem pieces that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I used the mini stapler for attaching the ribbon to my tags. And of course I have used my chipboard pieces. I've shared this before. I cut that apart in order to use those as pop-ups so that it's not two-dimensional, but it gives a little bit of dimension to things. So that's February. Here's March. You can see I pulled out a paper doily in green. Some of these squares are 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 so that it fits a 4-inch photograph. I've used that same silver pigment ink around the outside edge of the circle die that I used. I used this circle die. But just find what you have in your stash. I didn't have a punch that was the same size as these circles, so I just figured out a way to make it work for me. And that is March. Here's April. I used the banner, not a banner, but yeah, banner down here, and then I had a little bit left over. It had 2 little lambs on it, so I cut those apart and backed one up here, and then I put one down here. Again, a couple of little flowers from my collection. I think this turned out so sweet. Here's May. Pulled out some of this trim from my stash. Notice I had 4 circles here. One of them is actually from January. It's just the backing because the blue just matches perfect. And I felt I needed something to fill this space here. And that is May. Here's June. So again, I'm using the ticket stubs. I've, like I said, popped things up just a little bit using that old scrap pieces of chipboard, but I've left the space underneath so that a photograph will still slip underneath these little ephemera pieces. Here's some more seam binding from Tamara's shop, Country Craft Creations. You can see here that I've done some layering of just some of the leftover. Oh, there you go. The glare is too bad. Little wood chipboard, little wood piece here. Okay, that was June. This is July. So fun. I think one of the hardest things was not trying to cover up all of the paper, but use, I'd like to at least give a chance to have quite a few photographs. So this size is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. I'm sorry, 4 1/4. Here I've done some layering of different seam bindings and a little ribbon piece. You can see that. I hope everyone is going to have a good time at this hop. I think it's quite exciting to see all the different things that people are making with the same paper collection. Really gives you some ideas of how to use your paper in different ways. Again, here's some of the flat back, I don't know, sparkly bits, I don't know what you call them, gems. I've done some of the layering of the banner pieces underneath the titles throughout this book. Here I decided just to flank the calendar piece with some of those same banners, and I just used the opposite sides so that it was, consistent. And the little journaling pieces are so sweet. Okay, here is September. September, I used a little bit of trim that's also available at Country Craft Creations. This is the Prima Magic Love by Frank Garcia. I've used a sticker underneath here from my stash, some more little flat back gems, some pearl accents. See here, I've used some of the banners just to pull some of the color in, and then popped up our little Wilbur here. This is October. I've used some of the cut aparts again with the banner pieces to highlight. I did not want to cover all of this page because I love it so much. I did pull out another die of mine for the crow, and I used some Nouveau crystal drops, also available at Country Craft Creations, to put a dot for the crow's eye so that can show up as a clear eye, except that you see through to the black paper. So I like the way that looks. I've used some velvet trim out of my stash and some black ribbon. This is very fun. And here is November. So for Thanksgiving, I've used the little turkey cut aparts and put these little ticket stubs, kind of like the feathers out of the tail, and went ahead and layered up some of these tags here with some different ribbons, and used a couple of small little photograph spots, matting spots. That's so pretty. And then the back of my album is going to be for their 1st year anniversary, so I'm going to be putting some stuff on here. But I hope that you have enjoyed this and are having a great hop and Thanksgiving weekend. Happy crafting, you all. Bye.